Well, here, since you will be given 1 minute to prepare for it, so at that point of time, you should say what occasion. So probably, like walking on the beach. Then, when? So when you holiday, probably the time, 10 years back, where it was on a particular beach. Then the reason why you had to walk without shoes, because you were walking on the beach and the sand was wet, so that's the reason you had to walk without shoes. Then how did you feel? You felt good or bad? So these are small things what you need to brainstorm. Okay. So the answer what I have taken here is, in India, it is a practice and a ritual for people to walk barefoot to religious places. There have been many times when I have walked without footwear for short and long distances. Down my memory lane, I remember very vividly that many decades ago, my parents and I were holidaying at Pondicherry. Now, here, when you talk about a place, remember to say where it is in which part of the country. Okay? Down my memory lane, I remember very vividly that many decades ago, my parents and I were holidaying at Pondicherry, a beach destination in South India. My cousins who were living in Pondicherry owned a private beach house. Now, here the reason I have used Pondicherry is to be more specific. Don't say who were living there. There means where. So it could be anywhere, right? Bangalore, Karachi, then Manila, anywhere. So be very specific. Pondicherry owned a private beach house. When we were holidaying, I, being a nature lover, enjoyed watching the sunrise and sunset, which was a treat to the eye. In order to have a beautiful view of the sunset, we had to take a long walk on the beach to reach the destination to view the sunset.
Okay.
Yes.
I want to describe an occasion where I walked barefooted for many hours, and that was during my younger sister's wedding ceremony. She got married precisely in December 7, 2013, and this is about 9 years ago. The wedding was a big one, and I have never been opportune to attend such occasion before. It was in Lagos State, and Lagos State is the southwestern part of Nigeria. Lagos is a big city in Nigeria, and it was once the Federal Capital Territory. It is noted for its huge population, but with minimal land square, and that was the reason why the FCT, the Federal Capital Territory, was changed to Abuja. I walked without shoes because my mom's relatives were around, and they had another occasion to attend, and in the midst of the big ceremony, they were about to leave the dining hall. My mom just eyed me, signaling to me that I had to serve our relatives. And trust me, it was not the time it was not the time for entertainment yet. But she said I must make sure that they eat something before leaving the occasion. I was dressed in a very big way with my high-heel shoe. My first assignment was to run after them and tell them to please wait. But with my high-heel shoe, I can't do this running. I have to remove the shoe and walk majestically like a queen without shoe to meet up with them. I met them and persuaded them that I would take them to an area where they can be served. They agreed with me and they sat down. Even without the shoes, I started moving up around to get the server and to make sure that all of them were served. I really felt satisfied walking barefooted because first, I was able to satisfy my mom.
Now, here there are some small mistakes. The thing is, you suddenly switch to present tense. Now, this is the whole thing you need to talk in past tense only.
Okay, past tense.
In place, and you need to work on your rate of speech. Now, rate of speech is, like it is neutral, the accent is good, we can understand what you're trying to say, but at times, you go a little fast.
Like I gave up on everything. This was a day when I was working in the hospital in a suddenly emergency work in the next shift fell ill, and this was a day that I was just alone on duty. Found myself working in the next shift, and it was in the ward. So this time I found myself on duty when I was supposed to knock off, but it was a busy day such that I couldn't knock off because of the next person who had failed ill like suddenly, and I didn't have anyone to relieve me of my duty. As I was working, I found that my shoes were becoming more tighter because I had to work like 12 hours straight shift alone. From there, I had to remove my shoes and had to walk barefoot because my legs were pulsating. My legs were feeling too hot to contain the shoes. Then suddenly, after removing my shoes, I felt like I was relieved because at least it was a little bit cool, regardless of me feeling like I was fainting. I felt better, I was relieved, and I was like, how I wish I had removed my shoes earlier and started walking like barefoot. But being in a pediatric ward, again, I felt fulfilled because it was like part of playing with the babies by removing the shoes, yet I had on my feet.
So here,
Thank you.
you have repeated and you have beaten around the bush a little bit more than required. Okay, so initially when you spoke about the pediatric ward and things like that, the same thing you were repeating again and again. So you can't lose marks for the repetition. So there's a parameter called as lexical resource. So here you can lose marks. So please be very careful when you're
Okay.
talking. Here, you can say that, okay, my as the shoe was new and it was getting tighter and tighter while walking, so I was scared of a shoe bite, right? They
Okay.
use the word
Yes.
shoe bite.
Okay.
Okay, so I was scared of a shoe bite, which would not only make me feel miserable in my feet, but also at my workplace. So I decided to remove my footwear and work barefooted that day, right?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah,
Okay.
small things you need to work on. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes,
Thank you.
you'll also be getting a 6.5. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes. Vivian, you want to try now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. I've not been able to walk without shoes for a long time in my life. But unfortunately, in August 2022, precisely, when I was traveling from Ogun State, the western part of Nigeria, to my hometown, the eastern part of Nigeria, Imo State. Unfortunately, along the highway, our vehicle, the vehicle of my husband with which we are traveling with, broke down. And to make the matter worse, there was no mechanic shop around to fix it. However, the passers-by encouraged us to roll the car to the nearest mechanic shop since it was descending a hill when this thing happened. And we decided to do that, hoping that we will see a mechanic shop where the technician can help us to fix it. But to my utmost surprise, my sandal, which is already weak, the leather got cut into two. I had no option than to remove it and started walking barefooted while pushing the car. Like I mentioned earlier, I thought it is something
that we would have gone to one or two poles before we were able to seek a mechanic that will fix it for us. But to my utmost surprise, we walked like 2 hours before we were able to. I will not dream to walk without shoe again in my life. So that was the only time in my life I was able to walk without shoe for a very long.
When you're talking about your car broken down, so like you can say that when we were traveling on a long distance, when we were traveling long distances, we had a car broke down in the highway, and we had to tow. We had to tow the car, right? Instead of saying push it. Okay, so that is something what you need to work on, and yeah, so you can just use some good vocabulary. I guess, see, your pronunciation is good, and you're speaking well. So yes, the only thing is connectivity, that is introduction, body, conclusion. I guess you also will be getting a 7. So that's a good effort. Okay.
I will give my occasion a title called A Nightmare on Barefoot. I remember this so vividly because I was so much in pain. This happened in 1989, and then I was in the 7th grade. I happened to make it onto the netball senior team for the primary school that I attended in rural village in a country called Zimbabwe. And for us to go to the place where the match was, I was so much excited because my parents bought me a brand new pair of shoes that I could use for the match. We walked all the way to the venue of the match that was about 5 kilometers away. We walked for about 5 kilometers to the place where we had to play the match. And in the excitement of the day, because my team was winning all the matches, my shoes became so hot I had to take them off. Unfortunately, I did not take note of where I placed them. And in that process, I lost my shoes. By the end of the day, we had to walk back the whole 5 kilometers. Unfortunately, I had to do it on barefoot. The ground was so rocky and some points were thorny. At first, it felt okay because I could tiptoe around, but eventually, it was so painful and my feet grew some blisters. By the time I got home, both my feet were so much in pain, blisters, and some were bleeding. And besides the pain, I got a great beating from my parents because I lost a brand new pair of shoes. I'll never ever forget that day because I got a beating and at the same time lost my shoes and
okay, that's
feet.
Good. So,
Thank you.
see, you said you want to name it as a nightmare, walking barefoot. So you can say, like, it was a nightmare when I lost my shoes and I had to walk barefoot. And also,
Right.
I was at the receiving end as my parents. Yeah, my parents gave me their peace of mind for being negligent. Yeah, negligent and careless.
Awesome, thank you.
Today I took part 2 directly because this was a totally new topic. And guys, this is a predicted topic, especially from January to April next year. So this is a totally new topic. I mean, I had never come across this from the past 18 years. So I thought, let me just share this and discuss the same. So which is why I wanted to do it today.